Imagine the friction of a standard evening commute. Your focus is fragmented by unfinished tasks and the sheer weight of navigating a dense, noisy crowd. Then a sudden shift occurs. Sunlight catches a patch of dust in the air, or a distant melody drifts in from the street. For one moment, that mental heaviness simply dissolves, replaced by a sense of total completeness. The feeling is profound, but it is also fragile. As the present returns, the weight of your responsibilities floods back in, and the clarity vanishes. We usually dismiss these flashes as random occurrences, pleasant glitches in an otherwise stressful existence. But treating these moments as unpredictable magic leaves us without a strategy. If we can't understand the mechanism, we remain powerless against the chronic stress of modern life. What if these moments of clarity aren't accidents, but the visible surface of a highly structured psychological progression? To understand this, we use the BKM model. It's a framework that translates abstract emotional experiences into a sequence of mechanical mental states, moving from raw sensory input at the base to total integration at the top. This model measures our daily stress as disorganized mental strain. When that strain briefly aligns into a unified pattern, we experience coherence. By understanding how this coherence is built, we can move from experiencing peace as a fleeting accident to maintaining it as a permanent state. Stage 1, sensory illumination, begins when an external pulse smooths the mind's jagged noise into a unified wave. This alignment opens Stage 2, low-resistance pathways, deep early mental circuits. Traveling these bypasses adult anxiety, accessing the calm, complete core of the inner child. While our adult mental state is defined by friction and resistance, this childhood memory state is highly efficient. It requires almost no energy to maintain. This suggests our original joy isn't gone. It's simply buried under layers of modern friction that requires specific sensory triggers to navigate. These mechanics also explain how we connect with others. Even in a crowded, emotionally disconnected public space, the same rules of coherence apply. In a moment of brilliant magic, two strangers briefly lock eyes. For a second, the social armor they use to navigate the world drops away. This is relational synchronization. Two complex, separate systems adjust their internal rhythms to match perfectly. This interbrain coupling allows two isolated mental states to operate on a shared frequency of coherence, letting emotion flow with zero resistance. This synchronization dissolves the boundaries we normally feel between ourselves and others, creating a flash of mutual understanding without a single word being spoken. Human connection is more than a poetic concept. It is a measurable reduction in the cognitive strain required to process another person's presence. Once you experience this level of connection or peace, the instinct is to try and grab it, forcefully holding the feeling before it fades. But the core law of this framework states that coherence cannot be commanded. You cannot force your mind into a state of alignment. Forcing mental clarity creates more internal friction. The pressure shatters the balance we are trying to preserve. True coherence emerges by balancing daily friction. We don't stop the weights from falling, we develop the flexibility to absorb them. How do we transform these fragile, fleeting moments into a permanent way of living? This is Stage 5, the attractor state. The light becomes a stabilized internal baseline, regulating your entire system. Reaching this requires third love, integrating self-awareness with radical openness, balancing internal maintenance and external connection. This stabilized state doesn't mean life becomes perfect or that struggles disappear. It simply means you have built a resilient core. Emotional resilience is defined by the presence of this unshakable internal coherence, which allows you to process external stress without losing your center. When you achieve this state, the entire relationship between you and the world inverts. You are no longer a passive observer, waiting for a beautiful sunset or a chance encounter to provide a moment of relief. Instead, your stabilized presence becomes the trigger for the people around you. Your calm acts as the signal helping others align their chaotic noise. By mastering your own psychological mechanics, you stop searching for the light. you become the coherence that someone else is desperately looking for.